Viewpoints on the talk station, FM 107, AM 1240. It's Friday afternoon and an opportunity to chat with Matt Dodge. And as always, to remind you, Matt Dodge is a registered representative of, and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor. And Matt Dodge is an investment advisor, representative of Market Street Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. The Estate Planning Center, Market Street Wealth Management, and USA Financial Securities are not affiliated. It's always a pleasure to get that administrative responsibility out of the way. We welcome Matt Dodge to Viewpoints this afternoon. And Matt, good afternoon to you. Thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Good afternoon, Lockwood. Finally, our miniature Arctic breeze has warmed up a little bit, so that's nice.
Yeah, but I understand we may have some more coming our way next week, so don't put those winter coats away. As a matter of fact, that kind of segues into a question I wanted to chat with you about today, and something that you've talked about last week. We were chatting about three habits of successful investing, and one of those would be 3 habits of preparing for winter as well, and one of them is not throwing away your winter coat. But back to the issue of those 3 habits of successful investing. And the first habit is something that I want to ask you about. It was the fact that you said invest for a reason. Well, hey, my reason is I want to make more money. But I think there was more to it than that. So if you would kind of embellish that, give us more of an explanation what you mean by investing for a reason.
Yeah, and it sounds so simple, but it a lot of times gets skipped right over. I'll talk with clients all the time. I'll say, okay, what's this account for? Retirement, I think. It's like, okay, well, right. Why did you choose this out of the millions of possible options? And you start to find out real quick that maybe they just hadn't looked at it, and a lot of times it's because, hey, we're working, we've got a paycheck, our portfolio is kind of sitting on the sidelines doing its deal, I'm putting money into it, but you're right. So the first habit, invest for a reason. And it reminded me, I had a question recently from someone, and it loosely went along the lines of, Matt, how risky should my investments be? How risky should my portfolio be? Mm-hmm. And after a little digging, I believe they were asking in the context of the recent volatility we've seen in the stock market, the ups and downs, the different headlines they were reading, many of which seem to conflict each other. And so really what they were asking is how much risk should they be taking at this specific time, and whether that could change. And I told them that my job, or at least the way that I interpret kind of the asset management side of it, was to help clients invest with the least amount of risk possible to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. So if you could accomplish your goals or whatever, retirement or whatever, without taking any risk, I would feel comfortable making that recommendation. Uh-huh. The problem is, there are so many rules of thumbs out there when it comes to investing. Now, rules of thumb, they're helpful in some instances, and they're important, too, because they help us make decisions regarding maybe how often should I work out, or how many miles should I go between oil changes. They make it so we don't have to become experts in every single subject just to make one decision. But rules of thumb in investing, they don't always work out as well. So, for instance, there's a rule of thumb that to take your age, and I won't ask you to reveal your age on air, but take your age and subtract it from 100. Uh-huh. So whatever that number ends up being, that represents the percentage of your portfolio that you should have in stocks.
Really?
So for instance, according to this popular concept or rule of thumb, a 60-year-old, if you take 100 minus 60, leaves you with 40. So they should have 40% of their money in stocks and 60% in bonds or cash or whatever. So you could see where this would be problematic, because obviously not all 60-year-olds are the same. Some 60-year-olds are retiring in 8 years, and some 60-year-olds have already been retired for 8 years.
Right.
So my answer to them, the clients who asked the question how risky their portfolio should be, was, let's first try and figure out what they're trying to do. What is the purpose? What they need their money to accomplish? In other words, come up with a plan. And then we'll let that plan dictate how they invest. This way, go ahead.
Well, this leads to, the slogan, at the Estate Planning Center, where, of course, we find you at Market Street Wealth Management, part of the Estate Planning Center, and that is plan first, invest second.
Right. Absolutely. Because what will a plan do? Well, it's going to be able to define how much risk that they need to take or are required to take to accomplish whatever those goals are, right? So if you tell me, Matt, I need to get to Raleigh. Okay, when do you need to get there? In an hour. Well, you may be able to do it, but you're going to have to drive
awfully fast,
really fast speeds. You're going to risk getting a wreck, risk getting pulled over. You probably need to give yourself some more time. So it's similar to investing. So it'll tell you how much they're retired, and it'll quickly reveal whether or not they've got reasonable expectation. So once we figure out, hey, here's how much risk you need to take to be able to do whatever you're trying to do, we then have to figure out if they have the stomach or the tolerance to do that, right? So someone says, I need to accomplish X, and to do that, it says you need to have 61% invested in stock, whatever it comes out to be. But really, they're only comfortable with a much lower amount. Well, then there's a disconnect. So it sounds complicated, and it kind of is, and it's the reason why we talk so much about what you just said: planning first, investing second. Because by investing first and really skipping out or leaving out the planning part, you run the risk of second-guessing your investments or the steps you've taken, because the moment things get rocky, our instinct is to, abort mission, try something else, change our strategy. We're going to be attracted to headlines telling us what we're doing is wrong. And, deep down, we feel like it's wrong because things aren't going as well. So we're going to go out and really, you don't stick to any kind of long-term plan. And I think a lot of people don't invest for the long term because they haven't planned for the long term.
This, of course, we're talking with Matt Dodge of the Estate Planning Center. And just to remind you, you can reach out to him and call him at 252 area code 240-2400. That's 240-2400. Or go online to Estate Planning Center. That's estateplanningctr.com. estateplanningctr.com, CTR short for center, estateplanningctr.com, to get more information about what Matt is sharing with you. And also, I just want to remind you, the co-author of a book, Halftime Shift, The Money Game in the Second Half of Life. This, Matt, as we get close to the conclusion of the conversation today, is really about, if you will, the game plan for the big game, which, of course, we'll segue into that because I'm curious as to your opinion of the big game. I got to be careful what words I use now because some words are super controlled, super copyrighted. Some games super copyrighted. But this is your point. We've got to have an intentional aspect about everything we do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. I'll be super bold in my prediction. See what I did there? But yeah, I mean, both of those teams, I guarantee, just having been in the locker rooms myself, have been game planning nonstop, especially in something as violent as football. If you're just running up, hitting somebody, you don't know why the heck you're doing it, you're probably not going to do it for very long.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's but this is important. I mean, it's all about game preparation. And of course, it's interesting. We're segueing out of this conversation about the 3 habits of, and this is the first of the 3 habits of successful investing, and that is being intentional about it.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, as we are talking about that, and again, I want to remind you, Matt Dodge's phone number, 252 area code 240-2400. That's 240-2400. As you heard just a moment ago, Matt Dodge, a former professional football player, successful. As a matter of fact, you started as a rookie. Am I correct on that with the New York Giants?
Oh yeah. Well, they don't tend to carry 2 punters on any team. You're either starting, you're on the, you're on your way back home.
Okay, so you've been there, you've seen it. As we wrap it up, I want to get first your feeling about the game this coming Sunday. Is it going to be a close game? And the next question is, who are you picking to win?
So I'll say it's going to be either really close or not close.
Oh, thank you.
The Patriots are either going to win or not.
No,
I would say it's hard to bet against the Patriots. So I'm pulling for Tom Brady just because everyone said he's old, he's washed up, and And let's face it, he's married to a supermodel. He's been to more Super Bowls than anyone. You know, he has the life we all wish we had. So I'm pulling for the Patriots.
All right,
Matt. And I went to West Carter.
Matt Dodge of, Market Street Wealth Management, and talking about, two issues, the habits of successful investing, and this one, the number one being intentional, and of course now also how we should invest in the football game. I say that with tongue in cheek because we're not going to do that. Matt, as always, thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Oh, thank you.
Matt Dodge is a registered representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Matt Dodge is an investment advisor representative of Market Street Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. The Estate Planning Center, Market Street Wealth Management, and USA Financial Securities are not affiliated. You're listening to Viewpoints here on the Talk Station, FM 107, AM 1240.